what I didn't even realize, Oral is an owlbear of ice, basically, and Yearn, my archdruid, is when she goes into her fire elemental form, she takes the form of an owlbear. So it's a fire owlbear versus
shit.
That's kind of fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that until I saw the mini. I went, it's gonna be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they were able to convince her to help in the fight. Which, why is Oral such a little bitch? Right? The CR
I was
is garbage.
I played the. Alright. I meted some, alright? Because I looked at the adventure before, because I was going to run it. And then I got to play in it, and we got to that point at like. Well, we entered the campaign at like level 6, so we were already pretty far up there. And then I was like, well, why don't we just kill this bitch and take her powers? So like. Well, I'm DK.
I'm Toby.
And today we're going to talk about our origins in Dungeons & Dragons, where it started for us. And as always, tangents are encouraged. So, you said it was weird.
Yeah. Do we want to do this like back and forth, or one person does the whole thing and then the other person does the whole thing? Or?
Either way, we can see how we land here.
Okay, so my first experience with D&D is, I used to live down in Phoenix, and we would, every once in a while, we had a pool in the backyard, so we'd go out into the pool at night. And I know this doesn't sound anything related to D&D. I told you it was going to be weird. And my dad would be the dungeon master, and the way he would do it, because we didn't have dice to roll and stuff like that, is me and my brother, or sometimes my sister, we'd be in the pool, and he would, be describing the scenario, and we'd always, describe our characters, that type of thing. And he would think of a number and be like, all right, pick a number between 1 and 10, and if your roll was based on how close you were.
Right.
And that's how I was introduced to D&D, and he had only ever played, a D&D. So,
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
it was those types of rules type thing, and you could get creative when you literally don't have anything in front of you, everything. Like, D&D is based off your imagination, but this was way out there. So
Sure.
you get creative. I remember I would always play as, like, a dwarf barbarian.
Hell yeah.
And I was getting sick of not being able to kill more than one thing in a go, so I started we were playing Diablo 2 at the time, so I started being like, alright, I'm just going to hold my axe out and spin in circles through these guys. So I was whirlwinding through the, like, hobgoblins and goblins, and yeah, that my brother would always play an archer, ranger archer, or whatever. And then that also depicts how he plays, like Baldur's Gate, that type of thing. He always goes the archer route. Which, I mean, in Baldur's Gate, they're some of the most powerful, if you've played Baldur's Gate 2,
No.
If you get an archer with the right bow, you can do anything. Their attack speed is insane. It's just like, But, yeah, like that was my introduction to Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, so for me, it was. Yeah, I guess that was pretty weird.
I told you.
I guess I don't know how a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people I know now watch it on YouTube, Twitch, and see it, and then they pick it up that way or see it in media. So I think a lot of newer people's idea of how they come in is a lot different than something like that. For me, I think I was like 10. I watched Lord of the Rings one time, and I was like super big into the fantasy of it. So then my stepdad noticed this, and he goes and he gets this AD&D second edition.
Okay.
AD&D Player's Handbook, which I still have. I meant to bring it. I just made a bunch of characters. Like, I just read whatever, the first 3 or 4 chapters. It was complicated. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I got one right up there. I'm pretty sure.
Do you?
Far end up against the.
Nope, that's 3.0.
Okay.
The old ones were like weird. They had like Dragonlance style art on the front of them. Yeah. Yeah. So I just started banking a bunch of characters. I never really played. I guess I played by myself.
Yeah.
Or however that would go. Yeah. After that, I switched over to 3.0 pretty quickly because it had to be 2005 or something like that. So 3.0 had already been out. I think my uncle then, who also was playing at the time, like kind of actually showed me how to play.
Okay.
I played Neverwinter Nights, which is just like a simulated version of the game.
Yeah, it's similar to Baldur's Gate, at least from that era.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, for sure. So I mean, that was, I guess, kind of similar in a way that, at least the video game aspect of it that you said your brother played. A lot of that helped me like build characters because it's like actually building a character right in the beginning. So I played 3.0 for a long time, and that's kind of where I started as far as getting into Dungeons and Dragons. I think I guess I never really played 2nd edition.
Has anyone really? No.
Yeah, a lot of people actually.
I know.
It's a pretty good edition. It's not bad. The number of system is weird. THAC0.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. It's THAC0. Okay,
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know.
I mean, weird, garbage, you know.
Yeah.
And semi-interchangeable at some point.
Well, and then for 3.0, they made it like crazy complicated. Like it was easy to understand the system, but like there was so much addition and stuff going on. But I mean, if you're in school and you're doing that at the same time, help you with math.
I mean, that's true. You have to be able to do it.
For sure.
That's why, like, at the table, if like I know my players have issues with math, I'll be like, they'll be rolling numbers. I'll be like, I'm not keeping track. You got to do all that.
Oh yeah. But, so how about after that for you?
So, other than that, didn't really touch D&D except for like Baldur's Gate. Played Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn, and then we did Throne of Ball, and then there was another expansion. I can't remember. I think it was the Black Pits or something like that. But didn't really touch D&D for a while other than doing that. Moved up here in, I think it was 2006. Then eventually I got, and it was probably similar to how, like, when you were starting out, we got a bunch of books. It was all PDFs because we couldn't afford it. And
Fair. And I got all my books were hand-me-downs.
Exactly. And it was just me and a couple friends. We'd make characters, and then when my dad had time, he would DM for us, and he was just going off of memory for almost everything, you know. So he had his own little world that he built in his head. So it was kind of interesting. Then that stopped, and I didn't touch D&D until well into 5th edition.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that the prelude of 5th edition was D&D Next. Like, that's how late into it was. I don't think, or if it was, I hadn't heard of Critical Role yet. But I started doing online D&D through Fantasy Grounds with some people. Okay. And that was hit or miss. I ran Horde of the Dragon Queen. Then we took a break and then finished up. What's the second half of it?
Horde of the Dragon Queen.
Something Tiamat, right?
I'm running the campaign right now, and I know.
I know. I have it going on in the background as well.
I have the deluxe, so it just says Tyranny of Dragons, so I never see them.
Yeah. Well, basically, ended up doing the whole Tyranny of Dragons, which I could go off on a whole tangent how I completely changed how that ends.
Maybe someday we will.
Yeah. It
I've also heavily modified the campaign.
did you have a god-killing plague completely wipe out all life in the material plane?
Not yet.
Not yet. Ooh, well, I have stats if you need it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So we're doing online, and then that group kind of started falling out, and then drove down to a little game store in the middle of town. I'm like, hey, looking for a group for playing D&D, and well, since then I've been in DK's game and hosted my own here in person. We got a small group of close friends from my wife's friends and a couple of mine coming in. We play D&D here, 5th edition. Starting to get into third-party stuff, as you've been seeing, and I like adding a lot of my own things, but as far as Origins, that's basically it. Went from AD&D kind of to AD&D kind of a little bit more to way far into 5th edition.
Yeah, I feel like everyone jumped into 5th edition just a little late.
It's easy.
Yeah, for sure.
It is. It's the easy one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as far as like playing through the years, I played with my uncle a couple times in 3.0 for a while, and then it wasn't until my brother was a little older, my stepbrother moved in, and then we could have our own games kind of regularly. So we did that for a while through 3.0, and then eventually 3.5. I played in a campaign for a little while, but it was a terrible experience for a 12-year-old to be in. Should not have been in that campaign for sure. Some bad things happened right in the first session I was there. It was crazy. So I kind of stopped playing with them, obviously, because of that happening. And then, yeah, I just played mostly with my brothers through the years. We just DM'd for each other.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of DM NPCs.
Yeah.
Especially with 2 or 3 people even. When you're that young, usually you have that kind of thing around. Then I took a little bit of a break, and then I tried to get back into it, and I got the 4th edition Player's Handbook.
No.
And then I entered a very dark time in my life.
No.
A time where I stopped playing D&D.
Oh, that is a dark time.
It was rough. I managed to get one game of 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons together with people who had never played or even really knew what fantasy was.
I don't even know what 4th edition looks like. Like, the book.
Mechanically?
No, the book.
Oh, yeah, I have the book. I should have brought all my players' handbooks. It doesn't look bad. The art style is like kind of cool. It's like an evolution of 3.5's edition. Yeah, I mean, certainly look it up. Player's Handbook for 4th edition. The problem with the game is it's trying to get on WoW level of gameplay. Like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I understand WoW, but I don't understand.
So, like, you had powers per day instead of an amount of spell slots and spells to choose from.
Interesting.
So, like, you never played 4th edition anyway, so. You'd have, like, 2 powers for the Warlock, right?
Handbook 2.
Yeah, they did, like, 3, 4, or 5 or something like that.
Interesting.
They would be Xanathars.
Okay.
Morning Cannons. They just stopped calling it that because people, marketing reasons.
It's $50 for Handbook 2, still, 4th edition.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Limited supply probably left. I'm sure they're like a novelty thing now. People want to buy to say they have 4th edition stuff because it was just a weird era for.
It's buy new. Not only 2 left in stock. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, I played that for one session. It wasn't that great. your speed is 6 instead of 30, things like that.
Squares.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. 4th edition is just a different type of game. It's very, give me a grid.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the grid?
Yeah.
I need a grid.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different game. Anyway, so I played the one session of that, and then I just didn't have anyone to play with. My stepbrother moved away. It wasn't really my younger brother's thing. So I just didn't play for a while, and then it felt like social suicide if you were in high school playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely avoided that. That I didn't need that bully on me for some stupid shit or whatever the deal was. And then yeah, it wasn't until 5th edition came out, and it was getting a lot of hype, kind of out of the gate. I didn't play in D&D Next either. I think when I first got in, it was like Tales of the Yawning Portal we were already on.
Okay.
So they had already, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the campaign modules out by then. I got some people from work to play in it. My brother kind of got a game going. We played for a while. Started coming to the store to play more games. And then just kind of evolved into what we got going on now.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I was like one of the only DMs around that would like DM for kind of random people, so to speak, game people at the game store and stuff like that. So kind of just attracted a lot of people that way through the store's Discord and stuff like that. So we met originally, and then just here now we're chilling. We got a bunch of people to play with if we want to.
And it's branched off into a ton of stuff, like a YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube channel for sure.
Before getting the group together with like all you guys and everything like that, I didn't have minis.
Yeah.
So it definitely it's become a little bit of an influence in my life. Just a little bit.
It's kind of crazy that it goes back that far. You know, I mean, how old were you when you first were doing that?
Younger than 10.
Okay.
We moved up here when I was 10, so real young.
Okay. Yeah. I was 10. I'm pretty sure it was like in 4th grade. I had like one friend that was into the fantasy stuff. So yeah, to be playing that long, kind of. I mean, I take breaks in life, but
yeah,
I've been at it now for like the last 5 years for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely have a lot of D&D stuff.
Yeah, it's only going to keep going. Forever and ever. What?
Anything else to add?
Where do you think it's going to go?
Oh.
Do you think 6th edition is coming soon? Because they've been kind of doing some weirdness.
Okay, so
especially with
as far as the editions, I think. Okay, so let me rewind back to the tangent I almost started, and I'm going to launch in that tangent now that we're talking about this.
Okay.
So when I was saying about the Player's Handbook 2 and why it was $50, is because people are trying to buy that stuff that it's already passed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to get those, but the point of those books is that you felt like you needed all of them, so you'd pay the price just to get them.
Yeah.
So what they've done now is make sure that like when you come into the game, you only need the 2 or 3 books in the beginning, and they don't want to slap Player's Handbook 2 on, something.
Yeah.
More, it would have been what, Xanathar's? Would it technically have been like Player's Handbook 2?
Yeah.
So they didn't want to put that on there to make you not think you need that, or
It seems like it's less of a money sink right now.
Yeah. I think they're trying to get away from that, but at the same time, it's like work. It's like almost reverse psychology on you.
Exactly.
Because now you still want it in a way. I think it's just a different way because you don't feel like you need it.
Because you don't.
Right, for sure. So my point is, getting back to, is the 6th edition. I don't think they're going to call it 6th edition because I don't think they want to do that right now. Even in 2 years, I don't think they're going to.
Because 5th edition's doing so well?
Yes. So what we're going to get is just Dungeons and Dragons.
Just continual expansions, basically?
Yes. Yeah. They're not going to call it 6th edition when it comes out. That's actually a thing that it's like a fan base thing to call it the next edition. 5th edition wasn't even supposed to be called 5th edition. when it originally came out.
Huh.
The fans like put that upon them.
Gotcha.
In a way, just because it is, you know what I mean. But yeah, I just think that the next edition isn't going to be an edition. It's not going to look like that.
Gotcha.
I think it's going to be maybe a revised player's handbook, but they wouldn't call it that. They'll just call it player's handbook or whatever. Something's going to come.
Yeah, eventually.
They're doing something to the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be more like a 5.5.
Yeah, I think in one of our previous videos you said that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely see, because it, like the writers and stuff, they just want to keep writing D&D stuff. However, there needs to be money made, so they have to go somewhere with it. It can't just be the same thing over and over again, because then people stop buying it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it has to go somewhere. Something has to change. Even if it's just, adding things or whatever, but eventually, I mean, it's fantasy, so it doesn't have to be anytime soon, things will start to overlap too much and it won't make sense to keep making more modules or, players' handbooks. It'll be a while.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think the modules are going to die out here soon. I don't know.
So, when you're saying module, do you mean like adventure?
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
the adventure settings, yes.
Well, okay, you can, like, I want to get the, what's that one module that it's the, Dark Forgotten Realms, where it's like if everything actually went bad?
Oh, yeah.
Well, guess what? Now we have an entire flip side of all of the adventures we currently have.
For sure.
So, it's in theory, if you do it right, kind of endless. But I mean, it's also up to the DM or, the players and everything. You can change whatever you want to and make it that way on your own. Like a god-killing plague,
Yeah. I just don't think they're going to do many of the adventure settings anymore, like the campaign modules. I just don't think they're going to do many more. They're going to like to do the settings and the setting add-on stuff.
Yeah.
With their multiversal theory here.
Well, with how their books have been getting, because, like, for example, Hoard of the Dragons, Tyranny of Dragons, that Hoard of the Dragon Queen versus, like, Tyranny of Dragons, they're both still missing a lot of stuff. So, like, there's a point in which you get to a cabin, and you go through a portal, you end up near a cabin. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. That cabin is very blah. There's nothing there, really. It serves a purpose, but not really. And I feel like a lot of their books, or their modules are like that, but the further and deeper into 5th edition we're getting, they're making them more flushed out, if that makes sense. Like, if the first module to come out would have been the Rime and the Frostmaiden, it would probably be real boring, missing a ton of stuff. There wouldn't be, like, all the, the tables to roll on and everything like that.
Right, for sure.
But, the Hoard of the Dragon Queen is very linear. Like, you guys are going this way.
Yeah, for sure.
Rime and the Frostmaiden's like, hey, here's a completely, like, sandbox world. Figure it out. Here's everything that's in it that they can run into. And throw some more stuff in.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that they kind of went that way. They went, all right, here's the area the players will probably stay in. Let's flush it out and let them take the reins.
Yeah, I do actually like that a lot.
Yeah, and I'm feeling like the further we're getting in 5th edition, we're getting more stuff like that because they can focus on stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm running Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and it's like that
to
a degree. Yeah.
It's
like, it's divided up into sections that you move through. But in each of those sections, it's like a fleshed out map. You can walk around anywhere in it.
Yeah, then that's what I feel like. If they stick with 5th edition for a longer period of time, we'll get more of that. So I don't know if the modules are going to go away, or if we're going to... They might space out the releases to be able to get, like, that type of detail in, but... If they went that route, I'd be perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, that's not bad, actually. And if they do go and allow themselves, because they have, like, this itch they need to scratch with the Forgotten Realms, but if they allow themselves to...
Go beyond
that, you can make so many things. You got Spelljammer out now. Dragonlance is going to come out. You can take any section. Did you pre-order
the books for...
I'm having a problem finding the pre-order for... the alternate cover.
Oh, alternate. See, there's your problem.
Yeah.
Well, you do have someone you could message about that. Or can he not get them?
Oh, no.
He can't?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
No.
It's dumb.
I'll probably just call a local game store. No, that's probably what I'll do.
But I don't really have anything else for Origin. There's only what's to come.
What is to come?
Mm-hmm.
I guess we shall find out.
You know what it is to come? V Rising Tuesday at
Ooh.
7 p.m.
Yes.
7 p.m. Central.
Central Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And if you want to share a snippet of your origin story in the comments, we'll go ahead and check those out.
Yep.
Anything else from you?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Have a good game.
Yeah, great day.